Hey, hey, Jaconda. Good to see you. Maybe we'll get a few more in. I thought that I was scheduling this um, after Adrian and Tony's uh, video tonight. Those two, I just love Fridays with Friends. They always bring the giggles. They can always uplift your spirits and give you something to laugh or smile about, especially when shit ain't funny. Because Mercury and her cousins, baby, them other five planets, is still on they bald headed whole shit. And it's making people act real funky. It's revealing some things because she's snatching wigs and edges and braids and whatever two or three and Trump's wig, honey. She ain't playing with our asses, okay? These bitches got it in for us. And so, yes, I'm released from the hospital. Um, and I really did. I don't know. I think I'm a super wonder sometime, superwoman or something, because I just thought I'd have this surgery and I'd just bounce back up and I would be coming home later that evening, but that wasn't what it was all about. Um, I had to stay. Because, baby, once you start coming off them good old hospital drugs and that pain comes alive, woo, Jesus. Um, but while I was there, I want to thank the staff. I want to thank Dr. Anil Thomas. I want to thank the staff at Northside Hospital. I want to thank I can't tell you, I had a beautiful room. Uh, I I thought I would have to share, but I was in there by myself, which was good. Uh, they, of course, when you go to the hospitals, the nurses are in and out to make sure your ass is still breathing and stuff. But I have to say that, I mean, they for even the food was better than decent. I mean, people talk about hospital food as being really crappy, but I mean, you had a lovely menu to make choices from, and the food was good. Um, so yeah, I'm back to this thing called reality. And yes, I'm only going to get better going forward. I hope you are good, Jaconda. How you doing? Huh? How you doing? I'm glad you're here with me. I've been trying to catch up on my YouTube viewing to see who's out here in these YouTube streets, what they doing. I'm telling you, damn, it's some real shit going on between content creators and stuff. It's like, wow, I didn't know it was that serious. I started doing this because it's fun. And it has to remain fun for me because the first time that it gets to feel like it's too serious, then, I will quickly pull up. I began this, I think, when did I start doing YouTube? Was it in 2020? It might have been, or yeah, it had to be around. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, I got like 85 or some odd videos up. And you fair to middling? Well, that means stuff things are good. So we'll take fair to middling, okay? So yeah, I told y'all that I had ceased watching as much news as I used to because I felt that I was really getting triggered by the dumb shit that seems dumb yet serious shit that's going on in this country. So that leads me to my first topic, and that's Ted Cruz, the most uninteresting motherfucker in the world. Now, I was watching Midas Touch, and they played a clip of Ted Cruz when he was in college, and I think he was asked what he wanted to do uh, after he graduated, and he said he wanted to take over the world. But the most interesting is in it, nobody wanted to fuck with him even then. Nobody liked him. His the people that he was couldn't stand his ass. You know, that has to make you feel pretty fucking bad. When nobody, BB King has a song that says, "Nobody loves me but my mother, and she could be lying too." So, you know, and so our friend Ted Cruz, the pussy procurer, down to the champagne room, purchasing some loving honey. Yeah, he's got to buy it. It's He made a snarky comment about maybe they should have sent the Venezuelan DeSantis or Death Santis probably should have sent the Venezuelan immigrants to President Obama's $12 million mansion on Martha's Vineyard. Ted, you jackass, you're a rich man. You're an elite trying to convince everybody that you just like them and you're just some ordinary guy. You are wealthy. We gonna send them to your motherfucking house. But the one thing I can say, DeSantis did those immigrants a favor because they up in Martha's Vineyard while your shit getting tore clean down, son. You see what kind of energy you pulled up? You see what kind of energy you pulled up with the hateful shit that you've been doing and managing to get away with. Now the people in your state have to pay for your shit. And some of them, I guess, since they voted for you, they also help pull in that energy. So I'm hoping that those people that were trafficked to Martha's Vineyard, I hope they're praising God right now because they ain't in your shit right now. And I guess I need to do some housekeeping. This is for entertainment purposes only. My opinions are my opinions. It doesn't necessarily reflect the opinions of anyone in the chat. I'm open to suggestions, but don't you come over here with no bald headed whole shit because I'm not in the mood. Okay, I am simply not in the fucking mood for that. All right. If you support Agent Orange, you're not welcomed here because we don't give a shit what you think. We don't want to hear it. We do not want to hear it. So let's go on to the next most uh, to another interesting person in these MAGA streets, the yeast beast of the South, baby, Monistat Marjorie, baby. Hey, Heart, how are you? Thank you for coming over. Let's talk about Monistat Marjorie. Now, we know yeast rises when it gets warm, okay? Well, I guess her husband has had enough of her stuff because he filed for divorce. Child, I got a feeling. Incoming call. Let me. Oh, somebody's calling me, and if the name was John Black, and if it's the John Black from my past, I don't think I want to talk to him just now. Anyway, yeah, her husband filed for a divorce, child. I guess he said he couldn't take it anymore. Um, but she wants privacy now. This is a woman who harassed a victim of Parkland, who has been rude to her colleagues, who's gone to white supremacist meetings and gatherings and spewed lies and utter nonsense. Who, I don't typically want to jump on anybody and how they look. We all have our flaws. but I can just tell she knows she's not pretty. I mean, because she probably looks at herself and say, "Damn, my face looks like a donkey's ass with some eyes in it." I don't care how much lipstick and mascara and shit I put on; it don't make me pretty. That's because you're ugly on the inside, girl. So your husband probably said he just can't take the heat no more. He probably simply doesn't want to be married to you anymore. Maybe you've gotten a big head since you became a representative. And we might add a representative that hasn't done anything for your constituents except lie to them. But girl, bye. You'll get your privacy, maybe. But if you think it's all right for you to do the things you do, you can't possibly expect anyone to sympathize or empathize with what you're going through in a divorce. You know, shoot. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, we have let's see. We talk about General James. Did you did you this I think this might have happened last week. But did you hear Letitia James stand up and eloquently give the speech about this case? She is you know what? Thank you, Hart. I'm thanking you for stopping by. I gotta catch up. Y'all go on over to Heart of Inspirations channel. It's called Heart, and listen to Dr. Lisa. She gives up good advice. She's hilarious. I mean, she says some stuff that will make you laugh. I mean, I've had lots of good laughs over there, but she gives very good advice. She is she is encouraging light workers to become business people with their light work. So go check out her videos. You will not be disappointed. She's wonderful, and I just love her. So I do thank her. Thank you, Lisa, for stopping by. This is just kind of impromptu. I had been trying to come on since Monday, but I just simply couldn't do it. I just could not do it. Back to Letitia James. I love the way she stood at that podium and read. She's a Libra, by the way, as am I. My birthday's October 9th. I love the way she stood at the podium and talked about these charges that she's bringing against the Trump organization, Donald Trump, and the cheering. She was so dramatic in her reading. I said, "Girl, you better deliver that message." Girl, you give us drama, girl. And being a determined Libra, I know she means to prove that case. Forgive the lighting. I just can't move. You see, I have to be on a walker, and I've gotten my share of walking around. So that's just disregard the light or lack of it anyway. Yeah, I just loved it. I just loved it. Tisha James. That girl. That woman's got a knife in her teeth, honey. She she ran. That was one of her campaign promises, and I know she's gonna see it through to the end, hunty. And because I know that Libras, one of the things they stand for is justice, I just get a feeling that she's going to see this thing through, and rightly so. You see, when I was in living in New York, and my ex was and is very high profile, we got invited to his parties, because the only people he wanted around him were people that would make him look good in the press. That never happened with us because I was always jumping in the way to stop all of that. Um, People were they kind of blew him off. They knew he was an asshole, but they figured he was their asshole, and didn't ever expect in a gazillion years, I don't think, that he would ever run for president, let alone win. My God. But you know what? All of us played a big part in him getting um, elected. And not only that, he did exactly what he was there to do, which was to wreak havoc, tell the people who felt that they had been forgotten, or I felt like they're people who didn't have enough gumption about themselves to do what they needed to do for themselves. I mean, with all the manufacturing that had left and gone to China, which he said, Agent Orange said at the time was a good business move because he's got businesses over there. Um, Wait a minute now. See, I'm reading the chat. Oh, you talking about Monistat Marjorie was sleep? I thought they had an open marriage. We were led to believe that was something that they agreed on. Well, maybe he wouldn't, maybe hubby wasn't down for that. He could put up with a lot of stuff, but not that, just that's public humiliation. Oh, and I hope he went and got his shots, damn it. Because ain't no telling what she might be carrying around. Anyway, so uh we it he did exactly what he was supposed to do, which is peel back all all the ugliness. Because see, I feel like COVID was here for a number of reasons, but in terms of how it this country is being affected by it, it's because see, America is going to have to be the thing she says she is. She is going to have to be this give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free bitch. She got to be all of that. She's got to be all of them things in that Constitution. And what we have seen is that maybe that a lot of that was a lie. It No, even though this is a nation of immigrants, allegedly founded, how you gonna find something that isn't lost? But that's another conversation. She has got to be what she says she is, and she's going to have to be that for everybody who lives here. Everybody who lives here, everybody who was born on this soil, everyone whose families have shed blood fighting wars, uh, everyone whose family have shed blood, period. However, the blood was spilled, she has got to be true to that shit she talking about. So now we have all these people who came out feeling as if they were forgotten. Nobody cared about them. Well, instead of maybe going out and understanding that manufacturing jobs had left, and maybe you could get an associate's, or you could turn your life around by trying to do something new. No, you chose to sit at home, smoke meth, drink liquor, blame the niggas, and blame the 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 Hispanics, and blame everybody else for your lack of ambition. So people want to think, they wanted to think that because we had President Obama, that racism didn't exist. You weren't paying close attention, because he's the only president that will ever have been called a nigger. When the one who was in who was in office this last time did some real nigger shit. Agent Orange was doing all the nigrominosity of it all, the nigrament of it all. He did some real nigger shit and is still doing it. So now we have come to the point where we realize that no, she ain't perfect. If any of you, I was blessed to be able to travel extensively when I was going out on the road. with these bands and with these people traveling all around the world singing. I mean, when you had an opportunity to go to other countries, I don't care how lovely and cute that stuff is. All I know is I was real happy to get back to terra firma, honey. I was happy to get back to the US of A. It is fine to party and to play and do all of that over there, but this is familiar to me. And I'm I think we might have just gotten to be a little bit too lackadaisical or something. We began to think, we began to take things for granted. I know my people have been taken for granted. I'm 10 toes down on that. We've been taken for granted in the 400 years that we have been here. And now we are not satisfied with a white man telling us about our lives as slaves. We're telling our own stories, and they're not pretty stories. They're not feel good stories. They're not warm and fuzzy stories. But our history is American history. And it's not about teaching something that's going to make your child feel bad. It's about your child understanding the history of this nation, understanding what we have brought to the table and what we continue to bring to the table. And especially Black women. Now, I can't say nothing about no other woman because I only know about being a Black woman, but especially Black women. We've had to be warriors from the time we hit this soil. Before that, getting on the ships during the passage. Have you noticed that those hurricanes travel the path of the slave vessels? Have you noticed that? And that the places that they hit are the breaking islands, the islands where we were dropped off so that you could break. They were called breaking islands because the main thing was to beat the spirit out of us, break our spirit. Can't do that. Spirit is infinite. The one thing that did succeed, though, was Western religion. That seems to have hypnotized us for generations. And now there are people coming out of that hypnosis. They're beginning to ask questions. They're beginning to go forth and and uh, and look at this King James version, this westernized version of the gospel, where everything is wrong, and saddles everybody with guilt. And people spend more time in the pulpits talking about what God hates rather than what the Creator, infinite wisdom, infinite love, my refuge, my fortress. They spend more time talking about what this beautiful love spirit hates more than the love of God. They convinced us that our ways were witchcraft. So be it. All right. But whenever y'all's asses get in a tight spot, you go see Miss Rudolph. Anybody remember Richard Pryor's album? And his story about Miss Rudolph, when him and his friend had gotten into trouble, they went to see Miss Rudolph to get it fixed. It's funny as hell. It's really funny. Yeah, when you're if you ever watch that movie, what was it? Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. When the man that was accused of killing someone went to see the voodoo woman to walk free from that. We are very special women. Not only are we the women that carry the Eve gene, we carry so much wisdom and so much power. And when you go visit Heart of Inspirations, go check out her videos because she is all about empowering women, helping them see their dreams and desires manifest, and not only manifest but monetize. You know, because work ain't what it used to be. Work is no longer what it used to be. Now in the social media age, the things we do, we have to do differently. We're making friends differently. So that for many people, their worth is determined by how many likes they, well, you know, how many subscribers they have. And having a bunch of subscribers is a wonderful thing. I think it's great. And I have a lot of respect for people who have been doing this for a while. The visionaries who saw that the day would come when they could monetize their content. Mine won't ever, I don't plan to monetize it because I like to play other people's music. I didn't start the night with any music tonight because I realized I was that it was getting late and that I had better come on while I still had the energy for it. So uh, yeah, uh, we are. Let's see, where am I now? Let me. Oh, okay. So now we got Jenny. I think we should stop calling women Karens, white women Karens, when they act an ass, and call them Jennies. Now, one thing I can say, I guess she went in and she said she still thinks that this election was stolen, and she's not backing down from it. Maybe she can plead mental incompetence or insanity at some point. But I refuse to believe that she, John Eastman, and Clarence Thomas did not discuss all of this shit. She's lying if she thinks her husband wasn't aware of everything she was doing. He was probably encouraging her. And I'm wondering how long his ass is going to be able to sit on that court in that black robe in his arrogance. I'm wondering how long. Hey Phyllis, hey Sharon. I'm wondering how long. So she can't did her little bit. Yeah, she came and she she went because it has to look like she volunteered. I think she was probably advised to do this thing because her text messages and her conversations and her activities at rallies, etc., etc. You know, when these people send you these, hey Carter Mancy, when you get an invitation to go before these committees, when they send you a subpoena, You need to show up or suffer the consequences. We see what others who didn't show up have suffered. Now they got a whole bunch of other cases coming up against their asses. And they deserve it. They deserve it. Let's see. So, just as those immigrants ought to be happy that they were flown out of harm's way, now they have filed a class action lawsuit. Baby, it's about to get hot. It's about to get hot for Death Santis. And I think that he knows it. I guess I could pull some cards on it, but I have to see how the spirit moves if I feel like um let's show what you send it. Yeah, they're going when they expose her, yeah. He knew. I wouldn't be surprised, Jaconda, if he not only knew, he coached them and he advised them on how to move like this. He advised them on what to do because Eastman was once his clerk, and they are very friendly. Ooh, can you imagine that menage a trois? My God, not cute. Not cute at all. So I'm going to start calling them Jennies instead of Karens all the time because Karen is a pretty name. Leaves a bad taste in my mouth just because of how she's clowning. Now, also, it looks like the pedo gets got off with no charges, and he's still bopping around here talking shit. There's something real fishy about the politics in uh, in Florida. Florida got tricks. Florida has tricks. There's just something fishy about them. They always have some tricks. Now, the last time we had an oracle reading, and I know that it was said on Tony, and when they pull oracle cards, the message was the same. And that was during these retrogrades, with all these planets in retrograde, this was going to be a time when we would have to take a deep dive. We would have to take a deep dive within ourselves and determine and give honor to our desires, give honor to our dreams. If there's, get do your best to get rid of whatever habits or whatever uh, people, whatever was in your life that wasn't bringing you some joy, to move that energy out of your lives. And all of our cards that we pulled convinced us that it was time for us to be still. Sometimes you have to be still and you have to be quiet and you have to listen. You have to listen to what Spirit is telling you. If you're feeling uncomfortable with a situation, let it go. If you're uncomfortable with a person, let them go. Because everybody is not here to help you realize your greatness. Not everybody is down with you like that. So it is okay. for you to well, let me just put it, it's not selfish for you not to give everything away. Give all your time, all your energy, pray all your prayers, whatever you're doing for someone else. It is not selfish for you to keep some of that for yourself. It is not selfish for you to focus on you. Now is the time. And I just know that at this time, it's a wonderful period to manifest those. This is a very powerful time of manifestation. It's a wonderful time to see those dreams and those desires come into your present reality. Now's the time. Because in the words of Queen Cheryl Lee Ralph, when she sang her song, she told us to never give up on ourselves and to believe in ourselves. Some of us have walked around for years allowing other people to determine what we do with our lives, letting other people's opinions affect how we move, how we breathe, how we have our being. When they're not the ones, it's not a human being that's giving you that. Your the very breath of life to me is proof of a true and living God, because he lives, she lives through us. We are a reflection of spirit. And our nation is changing. And change is traumatic. Oh, I also, before I go any further, I want to acknowledge the devastation of the hurricanes in Florida. It's not a laughing matter. It's terrible. So no matter how funky things may be in your life, if you still have a roof over your head, if you still have food in your cupboard, if your children are safe, if your loved ones are safe, then we have no complaints. That devastation is truly horrendous. So let's think about those who have lost their lives, their homes, everything, because of the damage that was done by this hurricane. I also want to send some light and love and power to Iranian women who are still protesting as a result of the death of the 22-year-old Iranian woman at the hands of the morality police. That is true courage. See, when they had the Shah in office, Iranian women got educations. They were able to dress the way they wanted to dress. They knew freedom. And with the Sharia laws and the strict rules of their religion being put into place, they've had it. They are putting their lives on the line. And when have you have a very formidable enemy, when the person coming up against you has nothing to lose. They have absolutely nothing to lose. They will lay down their lives to get the results they desire. those women are being very, very courageous, and we need to send them all the light and all the love and all the protection that we can, because that is real courage. And we in this country at this during this time, out in the streets encouraging people to vote, making plans to get people to the polls. We're out here doing this so that we don't become like one of those countries. And for all the countries, in Italy now, they have a far right president or prime minister, whatever they call them. That they haven't had that kind of ruler since Mussolini. All these motherfuckers that's wanting to keep their shit pure. They don't want any immigrants in their countries. I'm calling out to every African president on the continent to tell them they have to leave the continent. We don't want no fucking immigrants either. I don't care what you come bear. I don't care what kind of gifts you come bearing. Because the real deal is that no one is on the continent because they are philanthropic or benevolent. They are there for whatever they can suck out of the ground or dig out of the ground or just take because they like it and they want it. It's time for African leaders to step up and think about their country and the citizens of their countries, and to create countries, create systems that make their people want to stay in their homes, the homes the homeland that they are familiar with. Because many are leaving looking for a better way of life. And you can't be on one of the richest continents, if not the richest continent on the planet, and have the wealth going to a few people. Oops, sounds like the USA. But you know what I'm talking about. All of the immigrants who risk life and limb to get to this country for a better way of life. They risk dying to get here for a better way of life. And it seems like the only ones complaining about America are the ones that live here. So now we are having to engage in our own fight. We're at a position, we're at a crossroads. Do we want a handful of men to determine what a woman can do with her body? Or we have no license to our bodies. And even though I read somewhere somebody says that a woman's that it wasn't a right, but it was under the Privacy Act, a woman could determine whether or not she was going to have an abortion, which I don't think is an easy decision to make. I don't care which side of the fence you're on. I've been in a situation where I was raped and had to make that decision. And even under those circumstances, it was not an easy one for me. So I don't think that anyone who decides that that's what they must do takes that decision making process lightly. I don't think so. Or that couples can't gotta have to get permission if they're going to use birth control. That you can't buy condoms at a Walgreens because it's against the salesperson's religious beliefs. What do their religious beliefs have to do with what you're doing in your bedroom? This nation has gotten to the point where they refuse to accept that the greatness of this country is because of the contributions brown and black people have made to it, that this wasn't your land to begin with, and it's not yours now. It's not all about you. Who wants to live in a world where we all have to think this like we're part of the Borg? Any Star Trek fans know what I'm talking about. Where we have to all think alike, look alike, act alike. That's some bullshit. That is some bull Twinkie. I'm not doing it. And more, just to be perfectly honest, I am encouraging people to get passports just in case. I mean, no matter where you go, you're going to have rules and regulations. And as long as we have men being the ultimate rulers and the women who think like them in places of power, no matter where you go, you're going to be faced with some of the same demons. And I'm having some thoughts about that. It's like, why the fuck should I leave where I was born, where my parents were, where my forefathers, the ones that made it through, lived and shed blood? Why should I have to leave and go somewhere else? I'm as American as anyone else who was born here. But it is something that I've been thinking about. It's good to get out in the world and experience other cultures. It really is. But again, as I said earlier, whenever I would get off the road and we'd be back in the United States, I was happy as a lark to be back here. Where the only way your lights would get turned off is because you didn't pay the bill, not because the power grid went down or something. We were on one tour, and there was some, and it was on in the islands, and the weather got bad, and we were at one of these luxury hotels, honey. When Miss Electricity went out, you couldn't flush the toilet, you couldn't do nothing, and a few of us had gotten ill from the food that we had been served. So it was very unpleasant in a lot of the rooms because we were getting rid of toxins uh, out of all orifices, and we had to wait a few days before the water and the lights and everything came back. Oh, it was awful. Oh my God, it was awful. Oh Lord, my. Oh, and one other thing about the immigrants that were trafficked. It was reported that someone by the name of Jens, there was the name of a woman who was put up to convincing these immigrants that they would be greeted with money and jobs and shelter. She lied to her own for to get her shekels. I wonder if she's still in Florida. I wonder how much good it did her. It's a shame. It's a shame. And all of this bullshit is going to come back to bite the people who have put these systems in place, who have caused these things. Now, Miss United States of America ain't without, she got blood on her hands too. We are not, uh, we are not clean. Our hands are not clean because we have gotten so confident and so arrogant in our way of life that we say that we're the best country on earth, when in fact we fall short in education, we fall short in providing um, good health care for the citizens, we fall short on uh, being, we're the richest nation in the world, and we still have men, women, and children who go to bed without food. That doesn't put you in the ranking. I have, in some other notes, I have actually written down where we fall on the scale in all of those areas, and I'm going to find those notes and come back and talk to you about it. But we ain't number one, I can tell you that. We are not number one in many areas. So I don't care who you vote for. Well, I do care. But I do want to encourage you to get out and become part of the process, especially if you're black. Because if your vote didn't matter, there wouldn't be so much effort taken to make it so difficult for us to vote. Because they know when we show up, especially black women, when we show up, shit changes. So we have also we got Agent Orange going on his hate rallies and calling out these black women's names, that Cori Bush, Letitia James, Fonnie Willis. He's calling out their names to his audiences, calling them racist. Word, white people, racism is your system, it's your construct. You have been functioning under the illusion or the delusion that you are somehow supreme because of your skin color. When much of the knowledge that you received came from the motherland. Ah, ah, ah. Much of what knowledge that you have, you learned from somewhere else. The Romans thought Ethiopians were gods. And that's why they spent so much time there, siphoning off the wisdom. They weren't going to destitute places. They were visiting cities that were really cities, where commerce was thriving, mathematicians, architects, educators. These were thriving communities. So, no, even in your Western religion, when Yeshua called out, when his disciples came to him and asked him how to pray, when he uttered the words, Our Father, he diminished all of that chosen people history. He embraced everyone. And if in fact we believe that his work on the cross, his death on the cross, that he died for the sin. He died for everybody's sin. And he didn't just die for some people's sins. He loves everyone. And it's a kind of love that once you have a real experience, once you have a close up personal experience, you can't even fathom that kind of love. You can't even fathom the kind of love that the Creator has for us. It's amazing. And it never stops, it never ceases. It's always there. And once you get a good taste of it, you can't help but tell other people about it. You can't help but be that love. You can't help but share that. You can't help it because you really do want to shout it from the rooftops. You really do want others to have to experience what you've experienced. Now, I admit my experience came on as a result of an edible I ate that I didn't know was an edible. I thought it was just a tasty brownie. Good thing but the love I experienced was breathtaking. And to this day, I cannot uh, describe it. I just don't have the words for it. I can only say to you that that love is available for all of us. So, um, I want y'all to check out Heart of Inspiration's website. I want you all to also continue to support Adrian at Red Lentil Healing, Tony at Shining Hawk, Reiki. Is it Shining Hawk Shamanic Healing and Reiki? I think it is. Tony, forgive me if I got it a little twisted, but you can put in Shining Hawk, and you will find her. She's a very special woman, and she is truly an amazing light worker. She is truly about the work. And Fridays with Friends is always a joy because if you're feeling a little low in spirit, once you get on that, get on Fridays with Friends, you find a reason to laugh, even when shit ain't that funny. So I don't know that I have anything else for you tonight. I just wanted you to come on and let you know that my surgery was successful. I have to go back in 2 weeks to make sure that all is well. I am happy that I've gotten the right knee done, and so in about 4 months or so, I'll work on I'll get the left knee taken care of. I'm hoping I can get me some new titties out of it too. Maybe I'll get a new set of boobs while they're at it. Uh, but that I am on the mend, and because I will be restricted in my movement, I'll be online a lot more, um, and I absolutely want to come on around my birthday. Um, we are still moving ahead with the CD. And again, I've told you about the process and the beauty of beginning with an idea, and how after it's massaged and worked and built, how beautiful the creative process is in um, putting this music together. It's one of the most wonderful journeys that I could ever desire, and it's also um, the manifestation of a dream. a manifestation of the desire. And it happened this year. It happened quickly. It's so it is happening. And I want to encourage all of you to also know that as long as you have breath in your lungs, all things are possible. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't let age or other people or life beat you down so that you give up on yourself or your dream. Don't do that. Let's pull. I think I will pull some oracles. I was going to use. Let's see here. I think I'll use the African Goddess Oracle cards. I love these cards. It's so pretty. Oh, and Sienna Rose and Dr. Lena Rodriguez will be debuting their cards, the One World Tarot. If you haven't I think they're taking pre-orders. They'll be doing that next week. If you want to go on, and for those of you that like to read and you've decided that you want to learn. Thank you, Jaconda. The music is healing. Let me I'm going to put that comment up. I know that's right, girl. No. So let's see what the African Goddess Rising Oracle card, what the message is for us. I'll do what Johnny calls a saga reading. We'll do spirit, angels, guides, and ancestors. Let me see. Well, isn't that something? The first card I pull up is joy. Asase Ya'a. Oh, I'm going to have to take it down for a minute. And I don't know why I'm holding up the card. You probably can't see it very well. Asase Yaya. And that card represents joy. And she is a goddess of joy, and she comes from the temple of warriors, and her element is the bush. She rules life and death as the joyful crone celebrated as Mama Earth. Her energy is loving, fertile, and nurturing, and her name is invoked at major life transitions. So with this goddess of joy, she says she rules life and death. And that even in all those things, it's joy. There's something to be celebrated. There is joy. So I'm going to add to what Spirit is saying is do something that will bring you joy. Do something that will bring you joy. Make it your business to do something that will bring you joy, that will make you smile. And again, the next card is called Atete, and it's worthiness. The angels are letting us know that you are worthy. We are worthy. We are worthy. She's the queen of the gods, and she's a fierce protector of women and girls for the Oromo people of Ethiopia. Yeah, we are worthy, the angels are saying. We are worthy. Don't give up on yourself, and don't let anyone tell you that you are not worthy. What are the guides saying? Huh, this is a nice card. Harvest. Let me find the harvest card. This is a high priestess card. That's her temple, a high priestess. And this card is the goddess of is Abol Nimba. This is the goddess of harvest. So she embodies the sacred feminine and abundance. So what our guides are telling us that this is harvest time. See, they listened. This is harvest time. You've planted your seeds, and now it's time for you to harvest. It's time for you to reap the harvest, the riches of your planted seeds. And the last card is Satche, which is grounding. Our guides are talking about grounding. Now, I know when I want that, I go walk in the grass. You know, sometimes you got to find some grass where the dogs haven't doo-dooed and peed it out. But when you get a chance, get out with nature and walk barefoot um, in some uh, in some grass, because it is. And this is funny. This actually comes from the temple of our ancestors. From our So these are our this is what our ancestors attended. That's yes, spirit angels. This is what our ancestors, wow, are telling us. Grounding, the importance of being grounded. And she's Sachi or Sarche. Now she would represent Sarche Bartman, the Venus Hottentot, as she was called, by Westerners. She was a woman who was part of Piccadilly Circus because of the beauty of her body, her wide hips, and her big ass was foreign to Europeans. So she was considered to be a circus freak because they hadn't seen a body like that. And she was forced to perform as the Hottentot Venus. In 19th century London, she was part of the Piccadilly Circus. But before that, she was Sache. She was a Khoisan girl in South Africa. Was a queen. She was a queen in her tribe. But once again, something that was very beautiful was made to be very ugly and perverted by Westerners. But little did she know that the reason white women were wearing in France and in Europe were wearing bustles and wearing hoop skirts that gave them wide hips, it was because of her. They wanted to have those curves. So what we know we must do is understand that life is filled with joy. So do something for yourself that will bring you some joy. Go to Atete. Understand that you are worthy The angels are saying you are worthy. Yes. Yes, Jaconda. Understand that this is harvest time. That whatever go, something you planted is manifesting. Something wonderful, as I say, something wonderful is about to happen. I say something wonderful. This is a wonderful harvest. This is a wonderful harvest. And grounding. Get in touch with yourself. Get out in nature. You are a goddess. I could tell you a lot about Sarah Sarch J. Bartman. She was our muse for the Venus Revolution. And the Venus Revolution is a cultural movement because we began to challenge the European archetype of beauty. We began to put the focus on the beautiful black bodies that were overlooked. And now everybody wanted ass and hips. They're dying, they're killing themselves to get it. Yes, you're right. The goddess feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. So that is our saga reading. So tomorrow, I think Adrienne is coming. I know she said something about being on Sunday with Becca, I think, and Johnny. They're going to do their Sunday night readings, the political readings. And I think for, I may come on tomorrow. It depends on really how I'm feeling. But know that, again, since I won't be as mobile for a while, that, all I have to do is concentrate on getting my music done and healing and doing the things that bring me joy. Yeah. And I want you all to do the same. So, hey, Linda Sandoval, thank you for joining us. I'm going to get out of here too, baby girl. I'm going to lay down and chill. I think I'm going to watch the Warrior King, the Woman King, whatever, the movie that Viola Davis stars in about the Dominee women. I'm going to find a movie and just kind of relax for the rest of the night. So you all, thanks for coming over. I've missed you. I love you, and I don't throw it out. I don't throw that word around like it's garbage or trash. When I say it, I mean it. And I hold all of you in my prayers, each and every one of you. I go through the list. I don't know what your particular need or desire is, but the Holy Spirit does know. So I can't wait to hear the good news that you all have manifested that which you have been dreaming of. Take care. Mwah.